Hello everybody. Thanks for joining me today. I got my paper pumpkin box yesterday in the mail, and I thought it would be fun to do an unboxing video and show you what is in it, in the box, and make some of the cards together. If you're not aware, Stampin' Up! Has a monthly subscription program, and it is called Paper Pumpkin, and it's basically fun in a box. This box shows up in your mailbox every month. It's kind of surprise. They give little sneak peeks, so like they do give you an idea of like what the theme might be, or whether you're making cards or if it's like a different project. Most of the time they're cards, but every once in a while, like sometimes Halloween or Valentine's Day, they may do little treat boxes or something different. But I'd say the majority of the time they are cards. And, you know, they give you a little sneak peek. So the way you join is and I'll put a link later so that you can go check it out if you would like. But basically when you join, you are paying for a monthly subscription. And by the 10th of the month, you have the option to skip a month. So once we see some of the sneak peeks, you can say, I'm not sure I'm going to like that. And you can go into your subscription and just click skip a month, and you can just not worry about getting that month. And then you'll just get the next month. So it's fun. It's flexible. I love getting the box, you know, even with the sneak peek, it's still kind of a surprise what's in it. I'm going to try turning on this light just to see if that's going to help or make it worse. Let's see, did that make it worse, better? I'm not really sure. So I'm just checking technology real quick, give everybody a chance to jump on, and all right, yep, it looks like it's good. There's a little halo right now, but that'll go away when I take the box out of the way. So again, I'm just here to show you, this is the April 2026 Paper Pumpkin. It literally just came in my mailbox today. I actually ordered 3 of these because when I saw the sneak peek for it, I decided that it was probably going to be a popular kit. So I want to have a couple extras on hand just in case anybody wants to buy one of them. So just let me know if you're interested. But again, it's our monthly subscription program. It comes to your house every month. It's just fun in a box. Like, you just don't know what you're going to get until you get it. And you know, it's just fun. Everything you need is included in the box. So, you know, the only thing you might need would be your scissors, just so that you can open up or cut if there's any ribbon or twine, so that you're able to cut that. So let's go ahead and get started. If you're watching, comment, let me know you're watching. Maybe let me know where you're watching from. If you are a Paper Pumpkin subscriber, maybe comment that you already subscribe and tell me what you love about it. So let's get started. So this is the box that comes in the mail. We're going to go ahead and open it up, and you can see that included in the box is an ink spot, and every month the ink spot is a different color. So it's kind of a fun way for you to collect all of the little ink spots, the different colors. This is one of our new ink colors. It's called Peaceful Pine. It hasn't even come out yet. It comes out May 5th. It also comes with the stamp set. And then everything is wrapped in little tissue paper, which is kind of fun. So I'm going to actually take this box out of the way. And I'm going to take this out of the tissue paper. That's probably really loud. Sorry. So you can see it's all of the supplies are shrink wrapped. And there's instructions that come with this. So I'm going to use my scissors to come in and just open up the supplies. Now, the first month that you receive, I can't get this open, that you receive your Paper Pumpkin subscription, you actually will get a small block that goes with it, an acrylic block to use with your stamps. Since I have been doing this subscription for a long time, mine doesn't come with that anymore, so I will just have to use my own, which is no big deal. I'm actually going to just pull one out here. Pull one from up here. So I'm just gonna pull out. I don't have one of the ones that come with it because they're in a different spot. They're not right next to my desk. So we're gonna set that aside with our stamp set and our ink spot. So you can see this comes with some adhesive. This is our tear tape. There's some more adhesive in here. It looks like these are going to be mini dimensionals. Yep, mini dimensionals. And then we've got some embellishments. Let me go ahead and just take everything out of the bags. I actually keep these bags and I reuse them for doing kits to go and such. As I said, it comes with your instructions, and let's see if I can get this a little closer to the camera so you can see. These are going to be some really nice masculine cards, both birthday and happy Father's Day. Again, it's called Lakeside Retreat, so the theme is absolutely beautiful. So let me just set that down and we'll keep going through what's in the box. With any of our kits, I always like to kind of sort what I have into little piles. So you can see we've got some very pretty envelopes here. I'm going to set those aside because we definitely won't need those right away. Then we've got some card bases. So this looks like it's card for number 1. It's very pretty. It's got it pretty on the front and the back. And I like to make these cards exactly how they're meant to be made according to the instructions. But what's really fun is that a lot of people will take the supplies in these kits and they will make twice as many cards out of them than what is intended to be made. So like a lot of people would take this card base and actually cut it in half, and they would use this and this for like a mat on the front of a card and add it to like a white card base or a colored cardstock card base. So that instead of 3 cards, they get 6 cards out of this. By all means, like I love people that are creative and do that. I'm just kind of like a rule follower. I just like to make it how it's intended to be made, but you can definitely stretch the supplies. So that was the first card base. Here is the second card base, which is all like this wood grain. It's very pretty. So we're gonna set that over here. This looks like the third card base. And you can see we're gonna make 3 of each in this kit. And then we have all the little pieces that also go with this. These are all die cuts, and it feels very thick. It feels like there should be 2 there. But these are all die cuts. These are gonna be stamped on. And then there's some more die cuts here. These look like they're just gonna be punched out and used on the cards. And then we have some more die cuts. So this is what I love. Like everything comes, like it's just ready for you to jump in and go. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to set some of this aside so that I can pull out the instructions. And let's jump in and let's get started on the first card. So if you're watching, don't forget to say hi. If you watch it on the replay, just comment that you watched on the replay. If you have any questions, jump in and ask questions. So we're going to use Peaceful Pine for our ink color, and yours is going to come with this little spot. For the sake of doing the cards today, I'm actually going to use my full-size ink pad only because then I cannot open this for now and keep it sealed so it stays nice and juicy. So I'm actually going to pull out my ink pad. This is Peaceful Pine. This is one of our new ink colors. And our new ink colors this year, we have a new stamp pad design. So that's why I want to pull this out and show it to you, because I'm really excited about this. If you're familiar with our old ink pads, you'll know, sorry, I just bumped the camera, that the way they worked was that you have to pop them open and then you slide them. And then to close them, you slide it and you hold it closed. And sometimes they can be a little tight, a little hard to open and close. So we have a brand new ink pad design, and it's actually a magnetic case. So this one is, watch how easy this is. It just pops open and then it goes closed just like that. Because it's like magnetic, it gives it a nice seal so it won't dry out. And because it's magnetic, you can actually put this on top of the other piece, and you can see I'm only holding half of it. It doesn't go anywhere because it's magnetic. So it just gives you like a base to work with. I actually just prefer, because it's magnetic, it sticks together sideways too. I just prefer to do it this way, and I actually I like to turn it that way. So it's really exciting. If you love getting our new in colors every year, stay tuned, because in the next day or so, I'm going to be sending out, I'm doing an in color kickoff club, and I'm going to be sending out information on that in the next day or so. So if you want to get information about my in color kickoff club, then, and you're not on my newsletter, then comment below that you want to receive my newsletter, because I'm kind of going big on this in color kickoff club. So, all right, so we're going to go ahead and open this up. And what I like to do is just start with number 1 that's on the instructions. So it looks like number 1 on the instructions is going to be the card base that has the dock. So it's going to be this Happy Father's Day card. And so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to move this ink pad over so that I can put the instructions where hopefully you can sort of see them. Just looking at my camera over here, trying to see if you can see everything that's on my desk, or whether I need to move my camera up a little bit. So we'll just keep going here. And what it tells you, this is what's great about all of our kits, is it shows you, this is the wood block, the acrylic block. Sorry, we used to have wood blocks a long time ago. And it's telling you we're going to use Happy Father's Day. And then it's also telling you we're going to use this one, which looks like it's a bunch of little dots maybe. And then we're also going to use, boy, it's really hard to read that. I think there's such a glare. I'm having a hard time reading that. That one says, I believe it says, "You are my inspiration." Yes, you are my inspiration. And then we have the little grass that's going to go next to the dock, and the birds that are going to go in the air. So we got a lot of stamping to do on this one. So what we'll do is we will start by stamping the Happy Father's Day, and it shows you that you're stamping it on this little die cut piece. And a lot of times what I like to do is go back and just look at the picture so that I make sure I'm getting the correct one. These are all the same size, but let's see. So yeah, so it shows in this picture, it's going to go on this brown sign that's hanging, and it has that goes there. I'm just trying to make sure that I'm pulling the right size. That is for the Thanks Dad, I believe. So, okay, because there's 2 different sizes, so I'm just trying to make sure I'm using the right size here. So we're gonna start by stamping the Happy Father's Day. So we're going to take off the stamp. And the way I like to put my stamps on my blocks is by putting my stamp face down where you can read it on your table, and then put your block on top of it. That makes sure if it's like a long skinny stamp, that you get it straight on the block. And I always like to use my foam mat when I'm doing stamping with the photopolymer. So it is showing us that we are stamping the Happy Father's Day in the middle of this tag, and then we're stamping the little dotted line on the top and the bottom, and you can see that on the sample as well. So I'm going to go ahead and ink up the Happy Father's Day. And our new ink pads are also linen. If you've been around Stampin' Up! For a while, we used to have linen ink pads, and I actually really like the linen better than the foam. So I'm really excited that we're switching back to the linen. I'm going to test this first before I use it to stamp. So I'm going to probably stand up so I can see what I'm doing. Make sure I get this centered. Stamp Happy Father's Day. I'm going to go off camera and clean that stamp using my Stampin' Scrub so that I can remove that stamp and get a different one. This is the little dotted line. I think maybe it's supposed to be like rope. I bet that's what it's supposed to be. So we're gonna add that. I keep calling it a wood block. My acrylic blocks are a little dirty. Sorry about that. So we're gonna stamp that, ink that up. We're gonna practice first. Then we're gonna come back in, and it just wants us to put one of these on the top and the bottom. There we go. We're gonna take that off of our block so we can get the next one, which is the You Are My Inspiration. Put that on our block, move that aside. And for the You Are My Inspiration, it goes on a different die cut, which comes from this sheet. And I believe it's this, but I'm gonna just check. Yep. So we're gonna pop one of these out, and you'll see like we're making 3 of each card. But with our kits, they actually give you 4. In case you mess one up, they give you an extra, which is really nice. So we're gonna take that. We're gonna ink up our You Are My Inspiration, give it a test. And then we're gonna stamp this on our label. There we go. So this one has a lot of stamping. So on to the next. We're gonna get the little grass that is gonna go on the actual card. So here's our grass. I'm gonna add that to our block. And we're gonna get out our card base. And for this card base, it is the one that has the dock with the boat next to it. And for now, I'm gonna just leave it flat because they want us to just come in and stamp. I'll show you in the instructions. So they show you here is the grasses, and there's a little arrow that shows you that you're just stamping it right here. And honestly, you could probably do more if you wanted to. So I'm gonna go ahead and ink that up, test it, and then come in. And this just gives it a little more dimension by doing this. All right, we'll take that stamp off. And the last stamp we need is the stamp that has the birds. So we're gonna add that to our block. And for this one, per the instructions, here's our birds on our block, and here's where they want us to stamp them, up in the left corner of the card base. So we're gonna come in, ink that up, test it, and then we're just gonna come in and add some birds up here in the corner. Officially finished stamping all of the pieces for this first card. I will tell you, there's not always that much stamping for just one card, so it's kind of fun that there was that much stamping. So I'm going to move my foam mat out of the way, and I'm going to get my bone folder out because I want to give my card base a really good crease. It just makes it easier to work with when it lays flat. So now we're going to look at our instructions. And we're gonna pull out all the pieces that we need for this card. So it is telling us that we need this strip of plaid paper, which is on this sheet of die cuts. So we're going to just pop that out. It tells us we need the brown, like, sign hanger, which I've already popped out. And I've already got the Happy Father's Day stamped. And then it looks like we're going to need a little round fish die cut, which is this one right here. All right, so we have all the pieces. Then let me show you how you read the instructions for the adhesive. Because once you figure out how, it's kind of like code. And once you figure out what they're talking about, it's really easy to read our instructions. So on the back side of this plaid piece of paper, you can see in the instructions it shows the plaid and then it shows the white side. So basically you flip it over and it's saying that you're going to add 8. And it's got this little hexagon shape. Hopefully you can see that. It's hard to tell if there's a glare. So the little hexagon shape that's in the instructions would be our dimensionals that are included in the kit, because they are also hexagon. And these have a little bit of thickness to them. And so we're going to just come in. You know what, I'm going to do this on the foam mat so you can see better what I'm doing. We're going to add our dimensionals according to what the instruction shows. So it basically says put one on each corner, and then we're going to come in and add a couple dimensionals. All right, so that is for that piece. Then for the brown sign, it tells us to flip it over. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to flip it over. So we've got the brown side, but we're flipping it over. And it wants us to add a piece of the tear tape here, and then it wants us to add 3 dimensionals on the right side. So our tear tape comes on this roll, and it literally is so easy. You just tear it. It has got, it's adhesive on both sides, but it's got backing on it. So right now we're just going to put this on here, but don't remove the backing. And then we're going to add 3 dimensionals per the instructions to the right side. That piece is now got adhesive and ready to go. So then it says for our Happy Father's Day. Got our Happy Father's Day. It wants us to turn it over. And it wants us to add 2 pieces of tear tape. One on the top, one on the bottom. So that piece is ready. For the You Are My Inspiration piece, it wants us to flip it over. And we're going to add a little piece of tear tape and a couple dimensionals. So, dimensionals and tear tape. And we've got one last piece. We have our little fish. So it is saying flip it over and add 2 dimensionals. All right, now we have all of our pieces. So now we're ready to start putting them on our card. And you're gonna basically just kind of use the picture as your example. We'll go back to the bigger picture to make it a little easier. Let me move my ink pad out of the way here. Move this over. So hopefully I can get both in the same. And so we're gonna start with this plaid piece. We're going to pull off the backing on all of these. Now there's a couple different ways you can do this. I just pull it off. But I also have been doing this a long time and I don't find it difficult to do so. If you find it difficult to do so, you can come in with your Take Your Pick tool to peel it off. You can also just use your fingernail. If you give it a little crease like that, you can see it pops it off. Makes it super, super easy. So there's lots of different ways. If you're struggling, you're like, I can never get that off of there. try a different way. Just try either using your nail to make it lift. There we go. So we're going to put this piece across here. This seems kind of a shame because we're hiding some of this pretty background. So we've got our plaid piece. Then we're going to come in with our sign. We're going to take the backing off of that. And same thing here with the tear tape. I just come in and I just peel it with my fingernail. But if you're having trouble, then take your pick tool and you can just peel it off that way. All right, so we're going to come in and put that approximately right here. Looks good. And we want to add our Happy Father's Day. And again, just come in with your take your pick tool if you want. I actually find it easier to use my fingers. I was just trying to show you, just in case, not everybody can do it with their fingers. And we're going to add the Father's Day to the sign. All right, now we have our You Are an Inspiration. And we're going to take the backing off the dimensionals. And the backing off the tear tape. If you're watching, make sure you say hello. If you got this kit in the mail, let me know if you've made it yet and what you think, because this is a fun one for sure. So we're going to add this. So now it looks like our sign is hanging from the You Are an Inspiration sign. And then we're going to add our fish. So we're just going to take the backing off the fish. Everything's sticking to my fingers. There we go. And that's just going to go right above there. Now, really, no card is complete without some embellishments, right? And they include these embellishments that look like little rocks. And you can kind of see on the picture here that they've got 3 rocks in here and 2 rocks over here. And in the instructions, it actually shows you in the instructions that you're going to use 5 of the embellishments. So you're going to use 3 of the higher rocks, 2 of the smaller rocks, I guess that's what they said. I like to use the take your pick tool for this. So I like to come in. That's not even how I like to do it. I don't know why I did it that way. And we're going to put one of these over here. Let me show you the way I actually like to do it. I don't know why I did it that way. But I actually prefer to come in with the other end here because it's a little sticky here. And it's not going to work because I'm on camera doing this live. I do this all the time. I put embellishments on everything. It's not working. They never stick when I'm not live. Okay, so we're just going to do it the other way. Here we go. Get it in place. And then on the other side, we need one of the more rectangle shaped. We're going to come in and put that at the bottom of the grass. And then we need 2 of the other rocks that are a little bit taller. They just have a little bit of like height to them. There we go. So now we have our embellishments on there and our card is complete. So how nice is that? I mean, what a great card for Father's Day. So let me set that aside and we'll move on to card number 2, which is going to be this one here, which looks like it's gonna have this pretty scene. And I'm just trying to figure out which background this is. Oh, okay. It was buried in my pile. So the card base for this one is the blue stripes. So how pretty is that? All right, so this is what we're using. I'm going to set it aside for now, and we'll go ahead and start pulling out all of our pieces. So for this one, it looks like we're going to need this piece here, which is part of this sheet of die cuts. So we're going to pull that out. So we're going to be stamping on that. And then it looks like we're going to be stamping on, we're going to stamp Happy Birthday on this white piece that looks like it's not quite square. So let's go back here. It looks like it's got rounded edge. So let's pull that out of our sheet. So you can see here that there are some that have a rounded edge. So that rounded edge is what we're going to use for this card. Then we are using this green piece. This is Older, Wiser, Better. That's really cute. Which is part of this die cut sheet. Take that out. So now we have all of our pieces. I gotta take my jacket off. Give me a second. It's really hot in here. All right. So on card number 2. So we're going to go back to the instructions, and it looks like we're going to start by stamping Happy Birthday on our white die cut. So here is our white die cut. And from our sheet of stamps, we've got Happy Birthday. We're going to ink that up. Practice once. Ink it up again. And then come in here and stamp it on our little sign. With our photopolymer, I like to hold it down there for a couple seconds before I move it. Clean that. Ready for the next stamp. So per the instructions, we're stamping Older, Wiser, Better on the green piece. So we want Older, Wiser, Better. So like I said before, the very first paper pumpkin you get will come with its own clear block for you to use, and you'll be able to use that on all your paper pumpkins when you get them. It's about this size. It's just a little, it's not quite as thick as this. So we're going to go ahead and ink that up and stamp that on our label. I like this this kit. There's a lot of stamping. Like sometimes you just stamp like one word or, you know, one phrase, and that's kind of all the stamping they have you do, but this has a lot of stamping, which is really fun. So it looks like we're using the birds, and the birds are going to go on this piece, and it's going to go up in that corner. And then we're going to be doing the grass, and it looks like it's going to go on both corners of the same piece. So let me pull off. Let's do the birds first. You can tell I always practice once before I go stamp it on the finished project. I just like to make sure that I've got it on the block right and that I am going to get a good image. So now we're going to use the grass stamp. And we're going to put it down in this corner. And then we're going to put it, we're basically putting it, overlapping it on the grass that's already on the paper. All right, so I believe we're done stamping for this one. So I'm going to leave this out so that we can put the pieces on here to make it easier for you to see what I'm doing. Let's start getting our other pieces that we need to make this card. So it looks like we are going to need this blue mat, which there's 3 of these blue mats here. So we're going to need that. It looks like we're going to need a bicycle, which is part of the die cut sheet. So we're just going to carefully pop that out. And you want to kind of be careful when you do that. Don't do it too fast because you don't want to accidentally tear it. And I believe that's all the pieces that we're going to need. Nope, we need this gray piece. This looks like wood grain. Also part of the die cut sheet. So we're gonna set this aside enough to be able to kind of reference both. So the first thing it wants us to do is flip our blue sheet over and add some dimensionals to the blue sheet. So obviously we're going to go in and do 1 in each corner. One on the sides, and then fill in 2 more there. So that is our blue piece. For our decorative piece that looks like a piece of designer paper that's very watercolored look, it's very pretty. We're going to flip it over, and it wants us to add some tear tape. To the top and the bottom. And then on our gray piece of wood grain, we're going to add a piece of tear tape there. And then we're going to add some dimensionals on the back of Happy Birthday and on the older, wiser, better. So find my dimensionals. And we're going to add them on the back of the bike as well. So let's flip all of these over. And let's sorry, got a little sidetracked. It looked like I had some comments on here, so I was going to just say hello to whoever was commenting, but it doesn't. I don't know. It says I have comments, but I don't see comments, so I'm not really sure why the comments aren't showing up. So if you're commenting and I'm not seeing it, I'm really sorry. Here we go. I see it. Found it. Hi, Trish, and hi, Anita. Thanks for watching. This is a really fun kit. All right, so we're going to add some dimensionals. I've buried my instructions. Here we go. So according to the instructions, we need 3 dimensionals on the older, wiser, better. We need 3 dimensionals on the Happy Birthday sign. And then it looks like we're going to put approximately 6 on the bike. And 6. All right, we have all of our adhesive ready to go. We are ready to assemble. So let's get out our card base again, which is this blue striped paper. Again, you could cut this in half and you could make 2 cards out of this if you really wanted to with supplies you have on hand. There's just lots of fun ways that people like to make more cards out of the kit than what comes with it. I, again, am a rule follower, and I like to make it just as it's meant to be made. So I'm going to give this a good crease to get started. And all right, sorry. I get sidetracked very easily. Have you noticed? Okay, so then we're going to start by adding these 3 pieces. We're going to start by adding our our blue mat here, and I'm just going to peel off the back. Now these are mini dimensionals. Like we have two different sizes. We have our regular size and then we have minis. And the regular size to me are a lot easier to work with as far as peeling the backing off. The minis I think are a little bit harder. So you may have to do some of those other little tips that I gave you on the first card. And we're gonna go ahead and put this on the front. And then it wants us to go ahead and add this decorative scene. Just going to peel off the backing from the tear tape. Now we're going to add that right about there. I'm just using the photo and the instructions to give me an idea where to put stuff. And then we're going to add the piece of wood grain. It looks like it just goes below the piece we just added. All right, then we want to add our bicycle. And there's a lot of dimensionals on these. Don't get me wrong, dimensionals is like my favorite embellishment. But there's a lot to peel off. So we're gonna come in and add our bicycle. It looks like he's just kind of hanging out on the beach. Then we want to add our saying, our older, wiser, better. We're going to put that right down here. And then we're going to add that happy birthday. These cards are great for the men in your life, honestly. It's really hard sometimes to make masculine cards, I think. We're going to just tuck this in here a little bit under that banner. And it is good to go. Oh, nope, not done. We got embellishments to add. Forgot about the embellishments. So that's just me multitasking. One moment. All right, so we're gonna add some embellishments per the instructions. It looks like we are adding 3 embellishments, and it's 1 of the taller rock shape and 2 of like the rectangle rock shape. And they're all going over here in this, where this grass is. So we're gonna come in, we're gonna add 1. 2, and the 3rd. So there we go. Now we're done. Now we have our embellishments and we have our finished card. And we're ready to move on to card number 3. So card number 3 is going to be the one on the instruction in the front that's the one on the left. So this is the one with the wood grain background. And let's pull up our instructions for card number 3. All right, for those of you watching, did you buy this kit? Did you get this kit in the mail? Because it's a great kit. Just wondering if you got it and if you've made it yet. So for this one, we're going to need the Thanks Dad. We're going to need our wood grain base. I'm going to set that aside. And then we're going to need a white tag. And we're going to use a blue tag, which comes from the die cuts. And it looks like we're also going to use this large brown circle die cut. So we'll pull that out. Just going to gather all of our pieces while we're at it here. We're going to be stamping on this larger banner that looks like it could be petal pink, maybe, not really sure. And then from our die cut sheet, there's 4 images, if you count the oars, 2 images left. So we're going to pop all those out because I know they're going to go on this card. There we go. So I can move all this other stuff a little bit out of the way. No matter how hard I try, my space just gets cluttered. Let's start with the stamping. So we're going to start by stamping "Thanks, Dad" onto this white piece, and we're going to add that little rope on the top and the bottom. Oh, and it looks like "Thanks" and "Dad" are actually 2 different stamps. So actually, it says to put them on the block together. So let's give that a try and see how that works out for us. Add the "Dad," and then I'll come in and add the "Thanks" onto the block. And we'll test it to make sure that it looks okay. So let's stamp that. And then let's just see that it looks straight. Oh, it looks good. All right, so now we'll go in again and ink it up again. Go ahead and stamp that right on our white rectangle piece. Not my best stamping job, but that's okay. As I tell my ladies when they come to my classes, these are not meant to be perfect, and none of them will ever be exactly the same. All right, so let's take the stamps back off the block, and let's get out the little rope piece. We're going to stamp that on the top and the bottom. Tell you what, when I finish with this video, I need to clean my blocks. I didn't realize how dirty they are. All right, so that part is stamped. Now let's look at the instructions. So now we're going to stamp "You are a lifesaver on this piece here. And you can see by the instructions that they didn't center it. They stamped it off to the left a little bit. So I want to just keep that in mind. You are a lifesaver. This is where I think it's really important that you put your stamp down so that you can see it, but on the table, and put your block on top so that it's not crooked. Let's give that an inking, and let's give that a stamp. Okay. And let me just show you what I mean by it not being crooked. Because this is a stamp that's like words and it's straight, if you try to put it on your block this way, you could very easily, like, oh, oops, accidentally have it be all twisted. So now you can see, like, it's not straight anymore. Now, what's really cool is that you could do that on purpose if you really wanted to. With our photopolymer stamps, it's really easy to do that. So if you wanted to have your image be a little bit crooked, you could totally do that. But that's why I like to put it on the block, where you put it down first, and then you add the block on top of it. We need the grass again. And it looks like we're going to be stamping on our front of our card base. So we're going to ink that up. And this shows that we're going to stamp a couple of them. We're actually stamping them upside down. And I'm actually going to fold this so I can see where the edge is. There we go. All right. Now we should be done with our stamping. Let me go ahead and give this card base a good crease. And then we are going to start adding our pieces. I'm going to go ahead and close my ink pad up. And again, I'm going to show you how easy it is to close this ink pad. And just like our other ink pads, when you close it, you want to store it word side up because the ink pad is actually upside down when it's closed, and that keeps all the ink on the top of the ink pad. Okay, so let's see. We've got, so that this is showing us, here's our brown circle die cut piece. We're going to flip it over, and it looks like we're adding 6 dimensionals to that. I might add 7. There we go. So we're adding 7 to that. On the back of the Thanks Dad, we are going to add some tear tape. And if you don't have our tear tape, I love our tear tape because it really is that easy. You just use your fingers. You don't need to use your scissors. I would actually recommend you don't use your scissors because you'll get your scissors all like gunky. So I would recommend not doing that. So for this piece here, it says flip it over. We're going to put a couple strips of tear tape on this. And let's see, for the life jacket, it wants us to add 3 dimensionals. For the back of the blue sign, we're going to flip that over. We're going to add tear tape to the top, 2 dimensionals to the bottom. For our You Are a Lifesaver sign, we're going to flip that over and add tear tape. And then for the back of our oars, we're going to add some dimensionals. This is a great kit. I really like this kit a lot. All right, let's do some assembling. So I'm actually going to bring up the finished picture so that I can put it where we can see it, and then we're going to work from that. So it looks like we're going to start by layering the round circles together. So we're going to take the tear tape off. And we're going to just center that. It's much easier to do when I'm looking down on it, which is hard to do because the camera's right at my head. And if I go too far forward, I'm going to bump it and make the whole thing shake. So we're going to add this first by taking our dimensionals off the back. I'm going to just do the little trick with my nail. There we go. So we're going to come in and add this first. It's a pretty little cabin. Then we're going to come in with the You Are a Lifesaver banner. Take the tear tape off the back. Bring that across. Hopefully that's straight. And we're gonna, I'm gonna go ahead and add the Thanks Dad onto our blue. It's kind of like a signpost, I think is what it's kind of supposed to be. Add that to the blue signpost. Then we'll come in, take the adhesive off the back of the signpost, and tuck that in under, maybe I should have done this first. My bad, but it'll work. There we go. We're gonna tuck that in right there. And we just have the oars and the life jacket to add. So I'm gonna do this oar first. Kind of put it like that. And then we'll add the other oar. Overlap it a little bit. And then we'll add the life jacket. It's really cute too. And this one, that looks like, there we go, does not have any added embellishments. So we did not put rocks on this one. So that is the finished card. So that would be all 3 of the cards. You actually get to make 9 total because it comes with everything you need to make 3 of each. And that's just an introduction. And if you're not aware that we have this Paper Pumpkin subscription and you want some more information, just comment below. I'm happy to reach out to you. And I do have two extras of this kit available. So if anybody's interested, you can comment that below in the comments as well, and I'll send you a message. I hope you enjoyed and have a wonderful day.